Hi, Stuart Bruce here, and I am the Spare Time Property Investor. In these podcasts, I'm going to share tips, tricks, and lessons that I've learned and will hopefully help you, especially if you're still working the 9 to 5. Hello. I'm pretty excited about this episode because in this episode, I'm going to share with you how you could potentially get yourself an extra 26 days off a year, and that's without losing any of your pay. So you can thank me later, but if it works, it's a great thing to explore with your employer. But I'm going to tell you this in a bit of a different way because I didn't plan this and it wasn't my idea. So I thought I might as well kind of tell you the background to it instead of just going straight in. So a few months ago, we finished off a project and then I went straight on to setting up a property management business, which I'm still trying to get up and running. It's all been held up with Corona. So yeah, really looking forward to getting that one going, but it's all up in the air at the moment. So holding down a day job, setting up a business, helping my wife with her stuff as well, and then having to do other things when you're not at work, and we were just so tired and things weren't getting done around the house and stuff like that. We ended up getting a cleaner, but we were just really struggling to fit everything in. And I was training for a marathon as well, so yeah, there's a lot happening. So I spoke to my wife and we decided I was going to go part-time. I was going to work 4 days a week, so I could fit everything in and we could maybe have a little bit of a break at the weekend and stuff, because we were working 7 days a week on various stuff. So I went in, had a chat with my boss, explained that me and Lara had discussed this and we decided actually it would work for us and I wanted to go down to 4 days a week. So he listened, he was really helpful, and he said, let me think about it. And then he came back and said 3 magic words. And those magic words were 9-day fortnight. And honestly, it's such a good idea. He was really, really good about it, actually, because he said, this way you're still working full time, so you don't lose any pay, and you can catch up on work at the start or the end of the day. And it made so much sense. So I started it and it works really well. I work a little bit longer. I have a shorter lunch break and other things like that just to make it work out. And then every couple of weeks I have a day off and I focus that time on property. So it really suits me and I know exactly what days I'm going to have off and I can plan for those days. And it made me think there's lots of different ways to do this. You can build up time. You can take time back as toil. You can speak to your employer to see whether or not they work flexible hours. So you could start earlier in the day and finish early. You obviously have to speak to your manager and they have to be understanding. And this is why it's always so important to have a good relationship with your manager if possible. Because when you go and have a conversation about stuff like this and you have a positive relationship with them, you will have already built up some goodwill. So they're more likely to try and figure out a way to make it work for both of you. And also finding good staff is a real nightmare. So there's always staff retention in the back of managers' minds. I would say though, if you've been taking loads of sick days, coming in late, not doing your job, I probably wouldn't push your luck. But if you're like me and you still need to hold down your day job, but you're committed to your property investment, it really works. It gives you that extra time that you can devote to property. And as I said, I take a full day off every couple of weeks so I can really get my teeth into something. I obviously don't just wait for this day off. I also do stuff evenings and weekends and have annual leave days as well. But especially in the evenings, by the time you get home from work and you get into something, by the time you've really got your teeth into it, it's kind of time to go to bed. And I'm not one of these people who can get by on 2 or 3 hours a night. I need my sleep. So there you have it, 3 magic words, 9-day fortnight, and that's 26 days extra a year. And that's on top of your annual leave. I'd also just quickly mention something else I've been doing for a few years now, which is purchasing annual leave. So it's a salary sacrifice, they call it. And I buy maybe an extra 10 days to be taken over the year. And those days are just devoted to doing projects or property or whatever. And it just gives me a little bit more time to move things along. And going on holidays and travelling is really important to us. So this gives us the time so we can do that as well. Because what's the point of working hard if you can't enjoy yourself sometimes? And next we have my weekly recommendation. And this week I'm recommending The 4 Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. If you haven't read this book yet, it's all about how to replace your 9-to-5 job with businesses that you can run from anywhere around the world. And it's a really inspirational book that once you read, you're kind of a bit blown away by all the things he discusses, which include these really long trips and this ability to go off anywhere he wants to in the world, go and learn something, experiencing different cultures and everything like that. And it's just, yeah, as I say, it's really inspirational. He also has a podcast, which is well worth a listen. Some of the episodes are really, really long. But if you find somebody who you find equally inspiring, his interviews with them are really in-depth and really interesting because he goes really deep into detail with them. So they're quite fascinating, really. But I'd say maybe start off with the 4-hour work week and get to know him a little bit more. He's quite an inspirational and interesting person. But as I say, the things discussed in this book are really inspirational, a little bit overwhelming, really full on in some sections. But really, in essence, it's all about removing yourself from exchanging time for money and becoming more efficient. He talks about outsourcing and eliminating tasks. And there's lots of stuff in here that I think anybody in business or property can learn from. And I still want to implement some of the outsourcing tasks, especially the thought of having a virtual assistant sitting halfway across the world doing stuff while I'm asleep. That sounds fantastic to me. So thanks again for listening to this podcast, and I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for listening to my podcast, and I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have, please leave me a 5-star review to help other people find it, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button.